Hi, this is Taryn Grome, editor of Pharma Voice. We met with numerous inspirational thought leaders at this year's DIA annual conference as part of our Editors Take video series. I hope you enjoy this discussion.
In this episode, we meet with David Burnham, VP Strategic Alliance Management, INC Research.
Has the movement to transition the CRO-sponsor relationship from tactical to strategic evolved to a full partnership alliance? If not, what challenges remain to be solved?
Well, actually, Tufts has recently reported some data that since 2004, we've actually seen almost a 20% increase in the adoption of integrated alliances with CROs over the last, from 2004 to 2012. However, while we are increasing at a rate of 20%, Avoca and Vantage Partners actually reported survey results that showed that we're almost failing at the exact same rate. When they look at these reasons for failure, they actually fell into three kind of key categories. The Association of Strategic Alliance Professionals actually did a post-mortem analysis on some of this and found that those 85% of those failures were manageable. And those three categories included the identification of the right stakeholders, included a joint strategy that was mutually agreed to, that both parties understood and were aware of, and socialized throughout their organizations. A governance that actually was governing the strategy, a governance that had probably the wrong individuals or stakeholders included, and then metrics. We're a metrics-driven industry. However, the metrics were not actually feeding into the governance to actually measure whether the strategy was being achieved.
Aside from improved timelines and reduced resources, what are the other benefits of a strategic CRO-sponsor partnership?
It really begins with both parties coming together and agreeing that they want to work together to achieve something better than what they had as individual companies. So they have to recognize a mutually beneficial value of the two parties coming together. I call it the 1 + 1 = 3 type of approach. So once that's understood and defined, it's great, but it needs to understand the complexity that's going to take in order to achieve that. And I think that's where it's kind of underestimated, is the amount of effort that it actually takes to get that. Once you can do that and you put that infrastructure in place, you start to begin to see trust, transparency develop. Once those start to come into play, now we start to see opportunities and challenges in a partnership, as we're all going to see them. It's inevitable. To say they're not going to happen is unrealistic. But when they do happen, those challenges now, and rather than becoming barriers to the progression of the partnership, they actually become opportunities. And you end up finding that the strengths of both companies, you see skill sets and individuals and leadership coming forward, and those challenges now turn into a way of making the partnership actually stronger. So while those are benefits that are hard to measure, what will ultimately come out of that is you're starting to see the financial efficiencies, the operational efficiencies, the ease of doing business, and a collaboration that hopefully was what the two parties actually defined up front and what they wanted to achieve.
What are the key ingredients of a successful strategic CRO-sponsor collaboration?
Well, it really begins at, kind of the questions all linked together. It begins of that initial understanding of having the right stakeholders in place, the ones who have the empowerment to make the right decisions, and then really understanding why are the two companies actually working together? What do we want to achieve, and then how are we going to achieve it? That's great as a plan, but as we all know, plans change. Our industry is evolving and changing, so how will this partnership actually be able to evolve and adapt to that change? So building in, being flexible, being adaptable, is critical success factor to actually any partnership really being able to move forward. If you're not able to transform and innovate along with the industry, you're probably, unfortunately, going to result in one of those statistics. So as you're setting that up, the other key piece is really the investment in the partnership, the mutual investment. We run clinical studies, and we're running them as fast as the industry is demanding of us, and trying to shorten timelines. So it's like trying to change the wheel on a car while the car is actually moving. But the investment needed in these partnerships to nurture those relationships on a constant basis and realign regularly to make sure that we're always on the same page is actually the kind of the secret sauce, you could say. And it sounds so simple, but it's actually when you look at the reasons for failure, these are some of the reasons why unfortunately, we're not growing faster than the rate that we're actually failing.
For more information on this topic, visit our Thought Leaders website.
For more Editors Take videos from the 2015 DIA Annual Conference, visit www.pharmavoice.com. Thanks for joining us.